With the recent release of Star Wars Battlefront 2, the highly popular game mechanic of loot box systems have come under investigation from the Belgian Gaming Commission as well as the Dutch Gambling Authority. In this video essay, I will be exploring the specificity of loot box mechanics in relation to gambling using a spectrum of various existing literature which covers psychology of gambling, economics of casino gambling, and studies associating video games with gambling. Hearthstone is an online trading card game without the element of trading, but rather building a collection of cards as a mechanic. I'll be using Hearthstone mainly to analyse and apply existing theory to, and I believe Hearthstone's loot box system is relatively easy to understand. There is a broad application of loot box systems throughout the video games industry, for example FIFA packs from FIFA and supply crates from Call of Duty. Hearthstone provides an appropriate benchmark for loot box systems in the modern era of video games. Peter Fuller defines gambling as a reallocation of wealth on the basis of deliberate risk. This can be perceived as valid in the case of video games, as players will consciously spend either in-game or real currency in exchange for virtual content such as cards, cosmetics, and loot boxes themselves. Skinner explains that variable ratio schedule of reinforcement is the instance of which a response is reinforced after a variable number of responses around a given mean. This can be applied to loot boxes. For instance, in Hearthstone, the player will usually receive an epic card every 10 packs and a legendary card every 20 packs, even though the last 9 or 10 packs could have been disappointing. Game developers are relying upon the positive reinforcement of what's perceived as a good pack and ultimately leading the player into compulsion loot. Loot boxes aren't just constrained to the virtual medium, they can also exist in the physical world, as trading card games such as Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Are relied upon customers to buy packs of random cards of different rarities, occasionally awarding the player with a cool holographic card, but usually receiving average cards most of the time. This applies to Skinner's idea, as the player receives some physical value in the form of the cards, which may even increase in value as collectors want to buy the cards in future. Steinmetz discusses the following motivations of the gambling impulse. 1. A desire for stimulus for the activity of the mind, basically saying a form of entertainment for the player. 2. A love of wealth, which can be seen as a widespread collection in Hearthstone or FIFA Ultimate Team. And 3. Evoking feelings of vanity, which can be interpreted as cosmetics or showing off a rare item, evoking feelings of curiosity in terms of what might the player receive from the said loot box, and also feelings of surprise when something rare does show up. Although it can be acknowledged that loot boxes serve multiple functions for players, the system in place is mainly motivated most to make money, especially for games such as Hearthstone and League of Legends, which are free to play and rely on the revenue made from loot box purchases to release more content. This motivation complies well with Skinner's idea that if the gambling establishment cannot persuade a patron to turn over money with no return, it may achieve the same effect by returning part of the patron's money on a variable ratio schedule. We have seen loot boxes flourish in terms of designs and aesthetics, with flashy graphics and animations as the items are revealed, building up suspense as you can see from the FIFA Ultimate Team pack opening. For competitive games like Star Wars Battlefront 2, Hearthstone and FIFA Ultimate Team, aggression may be evoked through gameplay, and this may stimulate a response to gambling, according to Adachi and Willoughby. This is backed by Berkowitz and Dollard et al., who comment that competition may also influence aggression through the mechanisms of frustration and hostility, consistent with the frustration-aggression hypothesis. Bergler also mentions 6 symptoms associated with gambling, and in the case of loot boxes, I believe it is important to highlight the following symptoms. The gambler habitually takes chances, which can be supported via Steinmetz's theory of the gambling impulse in order to seek out valuable items and evoke a pleasurable, painful tension whilst opening a loot box. This pleasurable, painful tension proves to be popular amongst the gaming community, as countless videos are uploaded to YouTube showcasing particular or en masse pack openings, which is significant as a simple game mechanic has transpired and found a niche within spectatorship, and found a new level of entertainment itself. An article by McBride and Derevensky offers quantitative data with a moderate sample size of over 1,000 participants, as well as being a 3-year study from 2016. In the article, the results showed that gamblers are more likely to play video games than non-gamblers, and video game players are more likely to gamble than non-video game players. This data is important because the research has shown a positive correlation between video games and gambling. Even without the presence of loot box systems in place, games can influence gambling behaviours, which is significant to consider. There are certainly noticeable differences between slot machines and loot box systems. For example, FIFA Ultimate Team and Hearthstone offer rare items, so therefore it is not a complete gamble. Rarities of packs can also be worked out, and even the Chinese version of Hearthstone makes sure that the packs show the rarities of what you can receive. With loot boxes, the player is always receiving digital content which has a value, even if worth very little, compared to slot machines that usually offer you nothing if you do not hit a jackpot. Loot box systems are also meant to only be a feature of the game, whereas slot machines are the whole purpose of gambling. Drawing from the existing literature, loot box systems can be associated with elements of gambling, but is much more watered down when compared to casino games. 68% of youth in the United States aged 14 to 21 reported gambling at least once in 2008. Loot boxes may aggravate the neurosis of gambling if it's continuously normalized within the gaming culture, and could be a cause of concern with youth. B.F. Skinner's idea about variable ratio schedules is perhaps the most relevant literature which can be applied to loot box systems, as it encaptures how game developers can make profits in exchange for virtual items of small value.